The final round of the National Saloon Car Cup here at Brands Hatch on the Indy Circuit. Ford Escort Cosworth dominate as ever. It's David Yates, the 57-year-old treasure driver, on pole position with the Anthony Seddon prepared car, with Graham Coombs alongside him. A pair of them very even in action indeed. A very good race is a prospect then between the two. The second row of the grid sees Peter Clark, the man who won at Silverstone, lining up alongside Charlie Cox with the Ian Cross prepared Ford Escort Cosworth. A rolling start as ever. The cars now making their way out of the right-hander of clearways through Clark Curve. The pace car will head for the pits. It does so now, and Yates and Coombs lead the field up to the green lights. It's go for the final time of the year in the National Saloon Car Cup here at Brands Hatch. Down towards paddock they go. Colin Wells, you can see in the BMW M3 there, moving through on the inside of Barry Barnes, the West Kingsdown driver. Wells already with a good lead in Class B as the Escorts battle their way up into Druids. On board with Del Delorand in his Escort. Delorand, one of the four that won the Will House 24 Hours this year. Out of Druids down the hill, Graham Coombs there having a go on the inside of David Yates. Can he find a way past? Not quite. Yates just gets the nose of the high-mark car in front. Side by side they go to the clearways Clark Curve section of the circuit. David Yates just being able then to fend off Graham Coombs. Yates through in the lead. Coombs there in second place. Cox is in third. Fourth is Peter Clark. Fifth is Middlehouse, and Del Delorand's Escort already showing signs of damage. The rest of the field battled for, including Alistair Davidson returning to the fold with the Mercedes, and across the line goes Yates in the lead. Graham Coombs there in second place, looking for a way through on the inside. David Yates, though, is a vastly experienced production saloon car driver. He's able to shut the door. Del Delorand diving down through paddock. Yates from Coombs, from Cox. That's the top three. Peter Clark is in fourth place. Then in fifth and sixth are Middlehurst and Mallory Park winner Michael Woodcock there with the Dave Brady prepared Escort Cosworth. That's the yellow and white one. Brady well clear of Del Delorand. Is off on the grass there goes Luigi Mastro Lorenzo, the Ashton Underline taxi driver, out of the race. Here's the leader, David Yates, not really being able to pull away too much from Graham Coombs, and this battle royal going on behind. The Maxted Escort there of Delorand, the prototype for the ill-fated Escort Cosworth series at the start of the year, going through, running well, but a little off the pace of the leading runners. Down towards paddock they go. Charlie Cox there, number one under a lot of pressure. He's got Peter Clark right up behind him. Then in fifth place is Andy Middlehurst with the Nissan. Cox runs wide there, over the curve, back on again. Clark looking for a way through on the inside, but not really close enough to be able to offer any serious threat there. The battle then raging on as they come into the left-hander of Graham Hill-Ben. Here are the Hondas at play. Simon Harrison, already crowned as champion, being attacked by Steve Warburton, his teammate Dan Little behind in the third of the Castrol Hondas, waiting for them all to drop off. Three-wheeling Graham Coombs through clearways. Michael Woodcock there, tucked right up behind Andy Middlehurst. Now, can he find a way up and alongside and then past the Nissan Skyline? Across the line they go now, heading into paddock once more. Battles in Hondaland. Dan Little, the man from Prestatin, looking now for a way past his two teammates, Warburton and Harrison, and all three of them coming from predominantly single-seater based backgrounds. David Yates coming up to Druids. Graham Coombs, who was dropping away, now being caught a little bit by Charlie Cox. As now we see Woodcock going through on the inside of Middlehurst, or does he? Side by side, right the way through Druids. Unlike touring cars, no contact made. Formula 4 battle, Sapphire style. Barry Barnes, Chris Hudson, the ex-truck racer, and Hugh Marshall all running nose to tail with their Sapphires. Del Delorand coming through clearways. Working away at the wheel. Now through Clark Curve, the ex-BMW racer Del Delorand makes his way up towards the line as Michael Woodcock now ahead of Middlehurst. He's looking for a way past Peter Clark. Lining himself up there for an attack on the inside line. He should be able to go through, and he does go through. Woodcock is ahead. Clark trying to fight back. That's the fight for fourth place as they come up the hill. Michael Woodcock, though, keeps that inside line and makes sure that Peter Clark stays behind him. Andy Middlehurst right behind the two Escorts, and the Nissan that has yet to win this year. Colin Wells, as ever, dominates Class B. He won a race at Silverstone in an M3 yesterday. He's dominating the proceedings here at Brands today. Battles rage on in Hondaland as they make their way up towards clearways. And look at this for the lead. The gap has come right down. David Yates has got Graham Coombs breathing down his neck. Coming into clearways, Yates clipping the curves, Coombs throwing his car around a little bit more, using all of the road, taking the optimum line as he makes his way towards the start line and then paddock. Now Del Delorand, it's a rather crowded circuit in front of him, the two Vauxhall Astras there battling right in front of him. David Yates coming down into paddock. He's yet to find a way past the Hondas, and that might just delay him. They're having their own battle, remember. And unless they're looking very carefully in the mirrors, they won't really see just how important it is for them to move out of the way. Graham Coombs is having a go on the inside. Graham Coombs is the new race leader. Graham Coombs goes through as Del Delaron goes past the slower Astra's there. A wave to say thanks very much. They moved over, they gave him racing room. Graham Coombs is in the lead. David Yates now down in second place. And Coombs with a rock turf Escort Cosworth, the bookmaker, is ahead. Heading into the pits there was one of the Hondas. That possibly was Simon Harrison's car. Here come the leaders though, with the blue flags waving to the back markers. Graham Coombs and David Yates still first and second. Yates having lost that lead, not losing all that much time. Still shadowing Graham Coombs as we look back to see Peter Morse going through. There's Graham Churchill returning to Group N racing. He won the class in the series first year. He's been racing this season in Rover GTIs. And there is Stephen Warburton. It was his Honda that came into the pits. The clerk of the course having a word with him about something. Charlie Cox, number one, closing up onto the tail of David Yates. Now, can Charlie Cox, in front of all his sponsors, who are not only sponsoring his car today, but the meeting as well, find a way past Jess Yates? They go past the stricken Peugeot of Mastro Lorenzo on the grass, and Cox doing his best now to find a way up onto terms with David Yates. Graham Coombs ahead, working his way through the slower cars, dives to the inside of Hugh Marshall, the ex-Thunder Saloon racer, lets him go. David Yates there in that second place. He's got Cox right up behind him. This is set to go right down to the wire. Across the line goes Graham Coombs, and another of the Hondas there in trouble, parked by the side of the road. That is Simon Harrison's car, so Dan Little leads Class D, and Charlie Cox moves through into second place. David Yates down to third, slightly delayed by the traffic. He's also losing a lot of ground though to Charlie Cox, who pulls away but runs wide at paddock. The flamboyant Australian who now lives in London in second place. David Yates down to third. The Cheshire driver struggling now. He was leading early on, but he's obviously got some major problem. Graham Coombs turns through clearways. He accelerates now up towards the checkered flag. He's going to win here at Brands Hatch in the final round of the series. It's been a very good race, and Graham Coombs comes out on top at the end of the final round of the championship. Graham Coombs the winner there, with Charlie Cox second, David Yates third, ahead of Mike Woodcock, with Andy Middlehurst and Peter Clark completing the top six. In the championship, it's a clean sweep for Team Castrol Honda, Harrison, Warburton and